Alright, are we ready to go? We ready to roll? Alrighty. Stand by, please. Alright. Pictures up. Pictures up. And we are rolling. Rolling. And action. Hey, I'm Psych, and Psych is back. Back to this. Back from my little work vacation, if you will, and I will get into all of that in just a few minutes, but what I wanted to talk about is what this game is. This is Midnight Club Los Angeles, and this is the only game that I played while I was up working on that film. I thought I'd get to some other ones, but as it turns out, not so much, because this game, pretty beefy. It's a lot of fun. And the reason that I'm using this particular vehicle is because it is very, very similar to my wife's dream car. I tried to make it look as similar to the real thing as possible, so I thought she would enjoy that. There you go, honey. Okay, now I can move on to everything that I wanted to talk about, and the first thing I want to talk about is Midnight Club Los Angeles. This game rocks. Obviously, heavy comparison to Midnight Club 3 Dub Edition Remix, which is fine, and I think it's fair, and I think they are both amazing games. It's kind of hard to say which one I like more. I think I'm still leaning just a little bit more towards Midnight Club 3. But that's certainly not taking anything away from this game, because this game is cool. And what I wanted to do with this game is what I tried to do the last time I played Midnight Club 3. I wanted to see if it was possible to beat the entire game only using DLC vehicles. And I'll just go ahead and say, you can't. And it's because, like, the very first thing you do in this game is you have to select a car. You get a choice of 3 different vehicles, and of the 3 vehicles, none of them are DLC vehicles. So just for that alone, and you have to complete like 2 races with said vehicle. So just for that alone, it's not possible. But for everything that I did get the option to use, that I did get to choose DLC vehicles, I have done so. So basically everything that I could, I've chosen DLC vehicles, and I've completed it. So, technically, I hate that. I hate people say that, technically. Anyways, this game looks amazing. Graphics-wise, it's good, but what really drives it home is the fact that it is Los Angeles. I'm not necessarily a huge fan of the city of Los Angeles, but I love the fact that this game is just so incorporating of the city of Los Angeles, because although I've never been there, I know that there's a lot of stuff that goes on. It's a very, it's a city that moves. And there are so many Los Angeles landmarks in this game, famous things. And because I am a massive Tony Hawk nerd, obviously my favorite things are like Pershing Square from Pro Skater 3. There's the Hollywood sign, there's Capitol Record Building, there's Rodeo Drive, there's the 89 gas station with the nacho chip roof from Beverly Hills and American Wasteland. There's Santa Monica Pier, Santa Monica Mall, there's the LAPD station, Viper Room, Whiskey A Go Go, Chinese Theater. I think now it's TCL Chinese Theater, but at the time of this game being made, it was Grauman's Chinese Theater, and at the time of American Wasteland. So yeah, super cool. It's really interesting to drive around and you see famous landmarks and you're like, oh, that's awesome, and they're on like the appropriate streets. So Capital One's on, is that Hollywood and Vine? It's on Vine Street, I know that for a fact. But it's actually on Vine Street in the game, so that's cool. Other aspects about this game that I like, I love the fact that it introduced Fords into the series, like officially introduced Fords. And again, it's not that I'm a huge Ford fan, but I like the fact that they put that in if they're going to have Chevys and Dodges as well, because I always consider those like the big three in American automobiles. So it's really cool to see you have, you know, like a 60s Mustang, a 60s Camaro, and a 60s Challenger in this game. And then you have modern Mustang, modern Camaros, and modern Challengers. And it's just a nice mix. And they added, you know, the Ford GT and the Ford Focus, which I like. So I appreciate them doing that. And the other thing is, every vehicle, aside from the police vehicles, but that's, you know, whatever. But every vehicle can be customized, including the exotics and the sports bikes. So you can change up parts on the sports bikes, not just the wheels. And with exotics, you can change more than just the wheels. So I really appreciate that. And each vehicle has its own unique set of parts, like, you know, the Ford Focus has its own set of front bumper modifications. There are a handful of repeat hood customization parts, but aside from that, that's mostly just for the tuners. But yeah, every vehicle has its own, like, unique set of body kits, spoilers, things like that. So I think that's nice. The selection of each type is a lot less than Midnight Club 3, but Midnight Club 3 repeated a lot of parts. So, you know, you can choose, there's 20 different types of front bumpers for all the tuners in Midnight Club 3, but like 16, 17 of them are the same for every single tuner, versus Los Angeles, where there might only be 5, or some of them there's only even 2 optional front bumpers, but they are unique to that particular vehicle. So that's really cool. A few gripes I have about it is that there's no choppers, which just, oh, that sucks. So the only motorcycles are the sports bikes, and they just, there's not any sports bikes. There's like 4, and that's including the DLC. I think there literally is 4. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Also, there's no SUVs unless you get the DLC, and it just adds 2 Land Rovers, one of which is so stupid. Literally, there's one type of Land Rover, and then the next Land Rover is faster and cheaper. And it's just better. Better acceleration, better handling, and it's cheaper. Like, why? And the fact that those are the only SUV/trucks that you can get in this game is kind of a bummer. I wish they would have added pickups or other SUVs like they did with Midnight Club 3. But other than that, I'm very pleased with how this game is, and I've enjoyed it. I've done all the trophies, which was decently challenging. It's the circuit races that are so hard, and the circuit races are basically like you do laps, and then there's ordered races, which is basically just like one big lap, and there's landmark races, which is basically, you know, you're at point A, you have to get to point B, however you can get there as quick as possible, which really drives home the emphasis of using shortcuts, which this game has a lot of shortcuts, and it's really cool. And a lot of them are useful, just in everyday races. So that's nice. Aside from that, that's pretty much it. I can't really talk about soundtracks that much, just because I didn't really listen to the soundtracks of either game that much. You know, the first 2 or 3 times that I played it, yeah. And each game has songs that I gravitate towards. So I can't really say anything more so about that, but, you know, there's boom boom hippin' hoppin' music, and then there's like hard rock music. And it's kind of trippy, but it's also cool. Yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about Midnight Club Los Angeles. So now I guess I will move on to the thing that has been keeping me busy these last few weeks, and that, of course, is the fact that I was filming a movie. Uh, that was awesome. I loved it. Uh, Such an amazing experience. I certainly did as much as I possibly could. I offered myself out to do anything that I possibly could, and it totally worked in my favor. You know, for legal reasons, I can't really tell you too many details. Not that I'd be able to anyways, because I never read the script. But what I can say is that at least 2 or 3 scenes, there is some significant FaceTime for yours truly. Yeah, kind of a big deal. And then just a handful of other scenes that I was able to get myself involved with and just, you know, work as much as I possibly could, because this was kind of a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, or so I thought. But now there's some preem acting potential out there in the world that I could get myself involved with, and that's pretty cool, because I have the opportunity to say that I am a professional actor. Technically I can say that now, because I did just act in a gig, and I got paid for it, and, you know, I did essentially the exact same thing that a professional actor would do. But, you know, I very much would love to continue this. And it's not even that much, it's not even really for the money. Granted, I would seriously reconsider it if I had to do it for free, so the money's nice. It's not like there's a lot of it, but, you know, money is better than no money. But in all honesty, it's a fun, like, it's almost not even a job. It's like a hobby that you get paid for. And it's just fun. And absolutely I will take any opportunities, any and every opportunity I can. And I certainly hope that my professionalism and workmanship and humility and desire to work in this field will really, you know, shine. Because I do love it. It's so much fun. I mean, granted, I gotta move to a different state, but you know, small price to pay. And no, it's not Los Angeles. I'm not moving there. But I did find another very prominent filming location that I will talk about in more detail when it becomes more topical. Oh, and I got to meet the freaking Coen brothers the very first day. Like, that's pretty sick. And the reason I got to meet the Coen brothers is because I ripped the ass out of my pants. Oh yeah, you can't make this stuff up. only in the movie industry. Thank goodness we were not on set. We were actually at like base camp. So luckily, I ripped the ass out of my costume there, and I mean just the full thing, tailbone to taint. Just, it was glorious. That was a good rip. I should have got stunt work for how good that rip was. But anyway, so I'm standing at the seamstress with, you know, just my regular jeans and my regular shoes on, but everything, you know, from the waist up is in my costume apparel, and I got to talk and meet with Joel, and then a few minutes later I got to talk and meet with Ethan, and yeah, and I met the main actress in this project, and shook her hand and just said hi, told her how much I hated my boots, and we went on our separate ways. Dank ass boots. And the other unfortunate thing that's a little more you know, video centric is my lucky, if you will, 50-cent piece that I've had for 4 years. I lost it. I have no idea where it is. if you go back and you watch the first part of Psych and Chris play Super Mario 64, you'll actually hear me flip that exact same coin to determine which one of us was going to go first. And of course, it went in my favor. It wasn't a gimmicked coin, but you know, it was. It just happened to work in my favor because I'm lucky like that. But yeah, it's gone, and I have no idea where it is. I'm assuming it's up in the town that we were filming in. Or even worse, it's out in a field. Just out there. In just rural Nebraska. Which is kind of a misnomer because that's like all of Nebraska. There's 3 parts of Nebraska. There's Omaha, there's Lincoln, and then there's Nebraska. Everything else was awesome. The experience was great. I have an opportunity to continue onward with it. And I just, you know, everybody was just so cool. And we were constantly praised for just being hardworking, fun-loving, professional, responsible, respectful workers. Which I guess is something they're not really used to. And it's really nice to hear that. Just because, you know, we were just being us. That's just how we naturally are. And it worked. So it was nice to be able to make their jobs easier. But yeah, that's pretty much everything that I have to say about that. I got to see Chimney Rock. For those of you who don't know, Chimney Rock is probably the most recognizable, the most popular, the most well-known Nebraska landmark. And it's out there, like way western Nebraska, like in the Panhandle. So I got to see that, and I got to see it at nighttime, which is gorgeous because they have it illuminated by these massive floodlights. Google it, and hopefully there's a picture. I forgot to check, but I got to see it at nighttime. It's illuminated by these massive floodlights. You see it all from a distance, and you just see this kind of small rock formation that's very well lit up, and then you just drive closer to it, and it just gets bigger and bigger and more majestic, magnificent. And it's nice looking. Oh, on the Nebraska state, the quarter, because you know quarters, they have like all the states and all the different things. On the Nebraska Quarter, that has Chimney Rock. So if you have one of those, that's what Chimney Rock is. Granted, it has diminished a bit since the time that's on that quarter. It's lost a significant amount of its pointiness, just due to erosion and lightning strikes and things of that nature. But yeah, that was pretty cool. And I did get me one souvenir. I bought me one souvenir out of this whole experience, aside from a full case of water from a brand that's that doesn't really exist here. But I bought one souvenir, and if you know anything about me, you know that I'm not really a big fan of collecting things, or like memorabilia, or trinkets, or autographs, or anything like that. I just don't. I'm not a fan of collecting those sort of things. I'd rather just enjoy an experience at the particular moment. Like when I met the Coen brothers, you know, I had absolutely no intention of getting an autograph. I just wanted to meet them and say hello and thank you. And I got to do that, so I'm fine with that. But I did want to get something from the town that we filmed in. And that something that I got was Dante's Inferno for the Xbox 360. A game that, while I was up there, I read up on it a bit, and I think I watched a video that said like top 10 boss fights in video games or something like that, and Dante's Inferno was in there. And the more I read up on it, the more I realized it's kind of like, it's like what God of War did with Greek mythology, or what Darksiders did with Christian mythology. It's kind of like what this game did with that portion of the Divine Comedy by Dante. So it looks really cool. I haven't played it yet, but I will certainly get to it. And speaking of Darksiders, while I was up there, that's when I found out Darksiders 3 was confirmed. I am so excited! That looks so cool! Especially because, as you know, I'm a huge fan of the Darksiders series, especially Darksiders 2. Darksiders 2 is a masterpiece, and it is glorious. And from what I've heard of Darksiders 3, basically you're Fury, I think. Either Fury or Strife, one of the two that wasn't in the series. I'm pretty sure it's Fury, though. And you're fighting against the 7 Angels of Sin? What? That sounds so sick. And I want that. Just another reason that I'm looking forward to getting a PlayStation 4 when that time comes. So that was super exciting. But yeah, that is pretty much everything that I can think of saying, mentioning, anything of that nature. Oh, I guess I should probably talk about, like the videos that I'm supposed to be making. Because I took like a month-and-a-half hiatus, or whatever it was, 4 weeks, 5 weeks. But, I was kind of busy. But now that I'm not kind of busy, I do have a little bit more time to be working on that. So, my basic plan is I want to finish up 3 things. I want to finish the Rex series. I want to do that blind playthrough of The Evil Within. And I still want to do a Let's Play of my favorite game of all time. And the more that I thought about it, since, it is October and it's all spooky... Oh, I can't even remember my gimmick. Spooky Jahookie or whatever it is. Spoopy Jahoopy or blah blah blah. Since it's October, I'm thinking I'm going to start The Evil Within now. Especially because Fabulous Fish just said that at the very end of his Yoshi's Island playthrough that he's going to start a blind playthrough of Dead Space. I wonder where he got that idea from. Wink wink, hint hint, nod nod, oh yeah, So I'm going to do that. And then everything else is just going to kind of fall into place. I could do a Let's Play of my favorite game before I get the Rex series done, because they don't really impact one another, because the Rex series is Let's Plays, or no, it's not. My favorite video game would be a Let's Play, but then the Rex series is its own entity, so it's not like it's, getting in the way of anything. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That's all I can really think of. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for sticking through this hiatus. I appreciate every single one of you for it. And yeah, so I guess the next video I will see you at is part 1 of my blind playthrough of The Evil Within. So I'll see you there. And cut. Okay, that's good. Let's reset it. Reset, everybody. We're resetting.